Hello, hi, welcome. If you've ever watched Kitchen Nightmares with Gordon Ramsay or Hotel Hell with Gordon Ramsay or Bar Rescue, then welcome to the Hairdresser edition. It's called Tabitha. We're going to be watching season 1, episode 4. It is in Oyster Bay, New York. Okay, and the salon is called Images Salon, and it is attached to a strip mall. That's not really a strip mall. It's a big building with a lot of small businesses in it. There's a word for that. Right off the bat, they get right into it by showing us some of the worst clips of the things that are being said that Tabitha is going to go over with the owner.
The appearance of the salon is so bad that people think that we're low class.
The owner is saying that some people don't know how to keep their mouth shut. And then she also says that her husband is part of the salon staff because he sold his landscaping business. So now he's going to hang out. And apparently he was supposed to be the stern one. I will say that they did show a clip of him sweeping the floor. So you know what? He's actually doing something. Also, I meant to say this, side note, but not really side note. I was introduced to the show because I went to hair school in a vocational high school. I chose cosmetology, so half of my day was spent in cosmetology class. However, my cosmetology teacher was a 100-year-old woman who was going through 1,000 different things, and it happened to be her last year, so we had subs all the time. We spent most of our time sitting around, literally watching Tabitha's Takeover, and just seeing what salon life was like, because the people that were coming in to be our substitute teachers were not qualified at all to have us do any kind of cosmetology work, so we literally sat around in the classroom for the hours that we were supposed to be doing cosmetology work, and we would just watch episode after episode after episode.
My salon is so successful. There's a 3-month waiting list to get an appointment with me.
I used to think that was the wildest shit. Like, oh my God, yo, people wait 3 months to get their hair done? Now, me being 12 years into the industry, I have had my book completely filled up for that amount of time. I don't book like that anymore because I don't want to be told what to do 3 months from now when I don't really even know what I'm gonna eat in 5 minutes after I'm done doing this video. I had never really sat in salons, so watching this show was blowing my mini baby stylist mind, okay? So Tabitha's walking in, of course, right off the bat. She calls for the owner and she's like, come on, I'm here, I'm gonna take over, but first I have a surprise for you. We're gonna go sit in the back and we're gonna watch your staff when you're not around and see what the hell's going on in the salon while you're not around. Before we start watching other people and we start judging,
tell me why you brought me here.
why don't you go ahead and give me a little bit of information as to why you wanted me to come to your salon?
I feel that you need to motivate the staff, bring them up to a more professional level, and to update the salon.
She wants Tabitha to modernize the salon because, you know, you get a makeover the same way when you're doing Kitchen Nightmares where restaurant gets a whole new look. Tabitha does the same thing. She'll modernize it. She'll, like, you know, paint the walls and make it like a cuter salon. So she's looking forward to that. She said, I need you to modernize it, please and thank you. Tabitha's asking her, like, okay, so what would you rate the customer service of your salon?
I think we're maybe at a 6.
She thinks that it's pretty good, but it has room for improvement. And Tabitha starts asking her, like, okay, so how much time do you spend in the salon? Are you here all the time?
I don't spend much time with them right now in the salon.
Why don't you spend time with them in the salon?
Because I run another salon.
Tabitha literally was like, why aren't you running it here? Well, I'm only here as needed. She said, I think you're needed. You're the owner. You have issues. You're bringing someone else in, but you only show up as needed. So I'm supposed to do your job as the owner, basically. What are we doing here? Now that we know what she wants from Tabitha, Tabitha's, all right, you know what? Let's go ahead and look at these clips. They are measuring someone's hair with a full-blown measuring tape.
You want me to hold the rule?
It's gonna be short, sweetie, right? It's okay with you?
I think that's funny as hell. Do you know that your comb have little spots for inches on them? You could get combs that basically have exactly that on that so that you don't have to bring out a full-blown measuring tape. Like you're about to put a shelf on a wall. It's just unprofessional. I also think it's funny that Joe is like reaching over behind the client to like measure. He's like fully in there. The client's just kind of chilling and they're behind her like, yeah, that'll be 7.5 inches. They zoom in on one of the stylists' lower cut V shirt. Giddy sitting high. Push up Victoria's Secret 2000 and what year did this come out? Bra. And so Tabitha brings it up. Do you think that this is professional? And the owner's like, I think it's professional for her.
I don't know what else to say, but
Go home and put some clothes on.
By the way, she is wearing black. Like, it is a black shirt. She does have her makeup done. She has her hair done. She said that she is literally this close to indecent exposure, which I think is wild. Let this girl wear whatever she wants to wear, but that's just let her wear whatever she wants. I don't understand the issue. However, remember the year that this came out, 1, and 2, this is when we have to pretend that we as hairstylists are like a cult wearing all black and we are untouchable and we're separate from the like clients. Like we can't just be normal human beings. We have to be seen as this like alter ego that cuts hair. You know what I mean? Like, oh my God, a hairdresser. Like, it's like they want to build up the lore with fake professionalism as if we're not just cutting some fucking hair and getting bleach all over us and actually just being creative. I think the way that you dress and the way that you present yourself is part of your self-expression, as well as the hair that you're doing is part of your self-expression. Expression. I can't even begin to get into professional standards, who set them, and because I can't make this an hour long. How I go to work is mostly comfortable. I just want to look like I made some kind of an effort. I want you to be able to tell that I picked pieces together and put them on to show up to work. If I look like I put some kind of effort to go to work, then to me, that's good enough. And that to me means whatever that means to you, a little bit of effort. That's how I would run my salon. But we then get shown the clip that was shown like in the beginning where the man who we didn't know who that was yet, but now we know is Joe, the owner's husband who works the front desk, having like a little back and forth jokey time across the salon. She's literally all the way in the back. Bro is all the way in the front and they're just making jokes back and forth.
Put my foot.
Talk to the hand.
Okay, cupcake. Muffin top.
We love a little fat phobic joke. Josephine is cracking up at them yelling at each other back and forth. If it was a one-time thing, totally cool, whatever. It's funny, we laugh about it, but Josephine is cracking up, so it probably happens all the time, and Joe seems to be funny. Like, that's his shtick. Like, he laughs, he makes funny hee ha ha jokes, he's the man. He needs the approval of the woman in the room. It is what it is. So then Tabitha asks her straight up, like, you think that the customer service that you provide in the salon is a 6 out of 10. I'm here to tell you that I think that it's a 1.5 out of 10.
I'll be nice. I'll give you a 1.5.
I think we're better than that. I don't think we're a 1.5.
Josephine is delusional.
She's literally telling the camera, like, I don't know how she expects to attract a high-end clientele when her husband doesn't manage very well. Everyone's doing whatever the hell they want and they're just running around dressing however they want, you know, as Tabitha says. And she's never there, which I agree with her not being there. And management probably is one of the bigger issues, because if the management doesn't set boundaries, then how do the employees know how to show up to work? So Tabitha, of course, being Tabitha, she asks for the keys. She says, go ahead, you're done. Hand them over.
Here you go. This is it. And I hope you have lots of fun and you could accomplish something for me.
We walk back into the salon and Tabitha asks all the stylists to stop what they're doing, gather up to the front. She introduces herself. She says, hi, I'm taking over for the next week. I'm canceling all of your clients. Don't care who you had on your books, they are canceled. And you will be doing as I say for the next week, because me and the owner have been watching y'all and there are so many problems in here that I need to literally take over. As she's literally telling them all of their flaws, they were yelling across the salon. They're unprofessional. They lack customer service. The manager was yelling fucking words across the salon and they're going back and forth and he's like, oh, okay, you're putting everything out. They all laugh, whatever.
So I'm Tabitha and I'm taking over.
Is that a do-rag? When I tell you that when I was watching the clips in the beginning, I'm paying attention to so many things that I didn't even realize that this white woman has a do-rag on. What waves? Why do you have a do-rag on? And it doesn't even fit the aesthetic of the outfit. By the way, if you're gonna wear it, don't wear it. Don't wear it. Be a normal person and put a bandana on. That's what you needed. You needed a bandana. Who gave this white woman a do-rag? Get her a bandana stat. That would have matched the outfit perfectly. You would have looked biker. Get your outfit together, please.
Get your shit together.
I'm looking at the background of the video because they have every single bottle of the retail turned around away from us so that we can't recognize these products. But I know Paul Mitchell Tea Tree and Redken products when I see them. You're telling me that the camera crew had to come in this bitch and turn around every single bottle? Or do you think that they made every single stylist sit there and turn around every bottle? Anyway, Tabitha is annoyed that they're laughing. She obviously is like a little uncomfortable, like everyone's on edge, and I know that some people laugh, but Tabitha is not having some laughter. She don't think that is fucking funny. That y'all are laughing when I'm in here because obviously you need my help.
And probably one of the first things that you could do would be to put some clothes on. Look like a bunch of fucking hillbillies.
You look like a bunch of hillbillies. Pans the camera straight to Stacy. Stacy is already not having it. She said, I already know I'm not going to be okay with this shit.
I'm going to have a very hard time having her teach me because I don't like to be spoken to like I'm a dog.
They pan to the girl who has her shirt real low, and Tabitha tells her that she should be at a corner.
You look like you should be in a street corner, not in a hairdressing salon.
Did you just call her a sex worker because she has a low-cut shirt? Literally, she's not even showing that much cleavage. Okay, it's a lot of cleavage. Who cares? You're welcome. She also tells Miss Do-Rag that she looks ridiculous for having the do-rag on, and I'm going to say that me and Tabitha, we agree on that one. So Do-Rag asks her, all right, so how do you want us to come to work tomorrow? Tabitha says, well, first of all, I need you guys to cover yourselves up because this is not a club.
It's the way I choose to dress.
Well,
just like
it's-
you choose to dress
Okay,
like
well,
that.
it's not acceptable and it's
cover
not
up 'cause you have
professional.
no tits.
Yeah, I
like
don't.
to show off what I have.
Oh my God.
I agree with her. We're not going to be policing women's bodies and how they dress. She's going to dress however she wants. She still looks professional. She doesn't look like she just woke up and showed up. She looks absolutely fine to me. Tabitha's doing a little bit too much. And if you want to be modest, Tabitha, and dress fully covered head to toe, that is your prerogative. A woman showing some bit of her body parts is not unprofessional. You think it's unprofessional that women show themselves because God forbid that they get sexualized by a man and therefore is considered unprofessional. As if women just simply existing aren't sexualized no matter what. You know what? Once again, a subject that we don't have enough time for in this video. As Tabitha and Low Cut V are going back and forth, by the way, Low Cut V's name is Crystal. We just haven't been truly introduced to them yet. As they're going back and forth, you can see Josephine's face. She's literally like panicking.
Because she's very stern. And I just felt that by the end of the week, I'm not going to have a staff or a salon.
All right, so it's time for the inspection. We're about to find out what the salon has that has not been cleaned for a very long time. And I'm going to be honest, this salon isn't even that bad.
Tabitha focuses on negative, and I really feel like she's making a mockery out of images.
Our girl Stacy is getting a little bit frustrated. She feels like Tabitha is only going for the negative stuff. I feel like most of these things weren't even that bad, okay? Like Tabitha's pointing out really stupid things. Except Tabitha pulls out a clipper guard from one of the girls' station, and when she shows it on screen,
Look at this one. That is absolutely, look.
that clipper guard clearly does not get cleaned after every service. Otherwise, there would not be that amount of buildup on that clipper guard. And you cannot tell me otherwise. Even if they didn't get cleaned every single time, they have never, ever gotten that caked up. I've never gotten buildup of hair on a clipper guard. Do you know how long that clipper guard has been used? So Tabitha tells everyone to be there at 9 a.m. the next morning. When she walks in, she goes to talk to the owners, and right off the bat, Josephine is so scared of Tabitha being too harsh on her stylist. She clearly cares for them, and she doesn't want them to have their feelings hurt to the point that they don't want to work for her anymore. She clearly values them in her salon and is scared to have them leave, which I think is sweet. All right, so the staff all shows up. We're gonna have a staff meeting now. Tabitha opens up the floor for everyone to give their complaints and give their experience and how they feel the salon could do better. Of course, we're gonna start pointing fingers, and we're just gonna get into how the owners don't do anything and how there's drama in the salon. Surprise, surprise, there's drama in the salon.
I think some girls should stop fighting in the middle of the salon. Stacy and Claire do not get along.
Stacy tries to defend herself. Her voice is getting a little bit shaky.
My fighting on the floor, I believe I keep it down to a minimum.
She's clearly triggered by this girl, but I'm sure it's an everyday thing also. Oh my God. Let's sit down and have a conversation like two adults. She tries to bring up whatever's bothering her with Miss Durag, Claire. And Claire says, can I bring up what she wants to give her 2 cents and not give Stacy her time to speak. And then Tabitha completely shuts it down.
For God's sake, let it go.
Except these are 2 grown-ass women who clearly have some kind of beef between them, and it needs to be spoken because Stacy keeps getting triggered by it. Stacy seems to have more outbursts, so she's probably demonized easier by other people because she's probably louder than everybody else, and she probably gives her opinion more than everybody else. I don't know the dynamic, but I can probably guess it. Naturally, just as Gordon Ramsay has people come in to dine in and make this see what the staff can do and give them stress, Tabitha does the same thing. Remember, she canceled the entire week. She's having people come in.
But I still needed to see if anyone could cut hair. So I had models come in to test their skills.
She's going to assess their consults, their haircuts, their work. And so she brought them clients for each of them to do. We start off with Claire. Claire has someone who has yellow, orange, red hair, and they're holding like a picture in their lap of what they want, and they want to go back to their natural hair color, back to like a brown all over one solid color. And Tabitha is sitting there like observing how the conversation is going.
It's called corrective color, corrective color, corrective color, corrective color.
Except that our girl Claire can't get anything out except the words color correction.
Corrective color 15 times, but a client doesn't understand what corrective color is.
I'm super agreeing with Tabitha. A client has no fucking idea what corrective color is. We use terms all the time and we throw them around and they mean all types of things. I don't know what that means. Me as the client in the chair, just tell me, okay, I'm gonna take your hair back to brown. However, these are the steps I'm gonna take. You're gonna be here for this many hours, okay? Okay. Tabitha asks her, okay, so what are you gonna do?
Tell me what you're going to do.
All right, I'm going to make her hair brown.
She means like, what steps are you gonna take? What is your plan? We then go to Josephine, the owner. All right, let's see what kind of consultation she's having. The girl in the chair asked to be all over way lighter.
I thought it might be fun to dye my hair platinum blonde, like a really bright blonde.
Josephine literally shuts her down.
The way I feel is that you're not a person that's probably going to be courageous and want something dramatically changed.
I might be giving the wrong impression about myself.
AKA, bitch, who the fuck are you to tell me whether I can pull off blonde or not, or whether I'm bold enough to have blonde or not? Tabitha was completely turned off, called her aggressive.
I'm not aggressive.
You have an attitude now and you're giving your attitude to your client.
I truly don't like stylists that try to tell the client what to get. I'm one of the stylists that let people tell me what they want, and then I can tell you whether yes or no you can have it. It is not my place to give you my opinion and what I think that you should and shouldn't do with your hair. You're here to pay me for a service. I simply tell you yes or no, can it be done? Tabitha goes over to Crystal and gives her a couple tips actually on how to foil a little bit better.
Can I show you a better way, please?
Does slide in a little bit of everyone's foils in here look atrocious though.
Leaving the sides open will cut down on your bleeding.
But does give her tips, and Crystal's like, okay, cool, a new way of foiling, sure. She walks over to Stacy. Stacy is using a giant, like, wide tooth comb to do a haircut.
I've been cutting with this comb that I have for 20 years.
If she's been using that comb for 20 years, you think that you're gonna step in today and change it? Let's have a real conversation. Do we think that it's gonna change? Correct, it is not gonna change. So Tabitha's like, nope, that's not what you use to do a haircut. Go get a cutting comb. So she walks over, grabs another comb, and it's actually a comb for like the clipper guard to go over, so you can do clipper over comb.
And that's not a cutting comb either. Do you know what a cutting comb is?
Yes, I do believe I know what a cutting comb is.
Stacy is so incredibly triggered because Tabitha is walking around using her comb and like smacking it against her hand. It is driving Stacy up a wall.
I don't appreciate how she's treating all of us. Snapping her comb, it doesn't really make you comfortable.
After everybody's done with whatever they did to their client, Tabitha goes and then like checks because, you know, she was a part of the consultation. So she has a general idea of what the person wanted. And of course we go straight to Stacy because why not continue the drama and continue where the tensions are high for television?
Kind of looks like the 80s, doesn't it?
I can see how Tabitha can be extremely triggering to people, especially if you have mom trauma. I hate to call it out, but I think that's what it is.
I don't like how you're treating anybody here. I
You
really
had
don't. You're not treating
over-
us like a human being, first of all. And I feel like you're like an army soldier, like the comb snapping thing. I don't know what that's all about.
I'm not even gonna lie to you. Stacy had a full-blown crash out.
I have a boss and I have a manager, but not a drill sergeant.
You don't want any help.
And you know what?
I'm trying
You're
to
the
fix
worst creature of them all. You're not treating anybody like a human being.
Our girl, Stacy, goes outside. She has another crash out while having a cigarette. She needs to calm down. Meanwhile, Tabitha's inside looking at Claire, Miss Do-Rag. She says that the finishing is bad. The color looks good, which it's an all over one color. So sure, she probably deposited a couple times. It looks good. She was just going from yellow, red, into brown. It's not the craziest color correction in the world.
But this is corrective color. There's a lot of work to be done.
Although she did repeat herself 1,000 times, remember? Her finishing skills, not good. So the client clearly has a little bit of curl. And so the roots are still frizzy as hell.
Her roots aren't smooth. It needs to be finished properly.
She then goes to Crystal and she assesses. The client absolutely loved it. She said that the foils look good.
I thought you did a really good job on your foils. It was way too slow,
Right.
but you did a good job.
You don't have to foil in record timing. And if you do have someone telling you that you need to foil in a certain amount of time, don't work there anymore. To Tara, she had literally no pointers. She said it looked good, shiny, well styled, color looks good, 10 out of 10. Cool.
So you did a very good job today.
Going back to Josephine though, remember how she told straight up to her client that she doesn't think that she was bold enough or cool enough or, I'm sorry, what was the word? Courageous enough to have the blonde that she asked for? Well, when Tabitha's looking at it, she's like, I barely see a difference.
I don't see any difference. It doesn't really show me much of anything.
She's like, well, it's definitely lighter. She's like, barely, bro. You added 3 more highlights. She said, well, I think I did a great job. The difference, super minimal. Sorry. All right, finally, the funnest fucking part of all, the renovation, right? This is what they actually all want. None of them want Tabitha to tell them how to change their habits. They want new paint, new chairs, new salon. Please and thank you. Stat. Let's go, Tabitha. You know what it is. You know what we called you for.
Yeah.
So she does bring out the sledgehammers and she tells the owners to go in on the desk.
Hit it. Yes.
Joe! All right, Joe. All right.
The girls think that they're going to get some kind of peace of mind and they're going to swing a sledgehammer. But actually, Tabitha was like, nah, we're going to go on a field trip.
I'm just going to tell you, it's going to be fun.
When Tabitha told us that, I was a little nervous because I wanted to know, was it Tabitha's fun or was it our fun?
And they go to a salon in Manhattan, a very nice, high-end, uppity-ass fucking salon in Manhattan, and it looks like a good time.
Here it is, it's New York City. I'm in a very expensive, exclusive salon. I'm really nervous.
We're introduced to the salon owner, E.G., and the salon director, Erin. Erin goes with Joe to show him some basic customer service and how she runs the salon. And then E.G. and Tabitha are actually going to do some hands-on, and the staff is going to be able to get their hair done and learn some things.
AG does the most amazing dry hair cutting techniques. Dry hair cutting gives you instant gratification.
Stacey got her haircut by E.G.
I just wanted him to do whatever he wanted on my hair.
Oh my God.
She says that she loved that everyone in there was working together. Then they show Crystal, and Crystal was like, hey, so I thought that high-end salons in the city were snooty, and they're actually really cool. And she got her hair done, and it looks really good.
I think the stylist finally realized that I wasn't just busting their balls. I was teaching them.
And so the staff is finally ready to go into the new salon. It is finally the time that they have been waiting for. This is all that they've been waiting for, okay? Show me my new space that I will be working in. They are so incredibly excited, especially knowing that literally anything that Tabitha does is going to be better than what they had before.
So that's very exciting.
Ready?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Come on. Awesome.
She switched a lot of things around. Everyone is super excited. One of the biggest things she immediately wanted to show them was the desk that she changed from being this taller desk that this grown man stands behind, so it like matches him, to being like a lower sitting desk. It like takes up less space.
When you walk in, the desk is much more modern. It's much more inviting. The other one was too big.
However, I think it looks awkward in the space. There's like nothing but a bare wall behind it, and it's like a black desk that like a student would use at home. This isn't particularly the desk that I would recommend for the space, but if Tabitha thinks that that is modern for when this was aired, it is what it is. Who am I to say? Now that we're in this beautiful new space, we're gonna have new clients in it, and she's putting them right to the test.
I've invited some clients to come in this morning for you all to get their hair done. I want you guys to take really, really great care of them.
She has a group of people walk in all at once, and then she points out Joe like, all right, Joe, go ahead and do your job.
Hi, ladies.
Hello.
Joe, why don't you come up and meet your new clients? This is Joe.
In front of everyone, just kind of standing there awkwardly. So, of course, he feels out of place because you changed his environment. And everyone's standing around waiting on him to do his job while there are multiple people standing in the lobby area waiting to have a conversation with him. Like, overall, our boy is stressed right off the bat.
I was so overwhelmed. Like, instead of one customer coming at a time, I got nervous.
Now that everyone's clients are with their people, Tabitha goes to Josephine and says, these are the clients that you want in there. They need to have a good experience so that when they leave here, they talk about their good experience here, word spreads, and we bring in more of the same kind of client. However, they show some clips, and why is one of them someone blow drying without a concentrator and putting the blow dryer directly onto the hair? On the outside of the blow dryer right there, there's usually like a grate, right? And those get hot. That shouldn't be touching the hair directly. And she just placed it right on top. Tabitha's walking around checking out the consultation, seeing how everyone is doing. She goes up to Stacy and she gives her a couple tips.
When you're taking this whole section and cutting, you're actually only cutting that section here. You're not taking any out of there. So, may I?
That is my favorite kind of way of teaching, where it's shown to me directly and I can do it then directly on the hair. Hands-on, in the moment, perfect. She goes to Claire. Claire mentions that she uses some of the techniques that they learned at the high-end salon.
And then slid down.
Yeah, but you didn't do it dry.
I didn't do it dry. Some pieces I did.
I didn't see you do it dry,
Yeah,
though.
it was
Haircut, the whole concept is that it's dry,
I know
though.
it's all dry.
So the clients that I saw Claire do today are just way below standard. Her cutting and finishing isn't strong enough to be able to build her a stronger, better clientele.
Tabitha notices that Joe is ringing people out, but he is not pre-booking their next appointment. And we know Salon 101, you better book your next appointment if you want to get in, especially during these times, right? Where online booking isn't a thing. You have to make your appointment right there in person, or you're going to have to call. And if it ends up being a higher end salon, getting in and making an appointment is going to be hell. So you might as well make your next one before you leave, so you have it no matter what. You get the time that you want, you get the slot that you want, and you have no complaints, and we already have it set. But when she brings it up to Joe, because she sees someone who's already been rung out, she asks her, have you been asked if you wanted to pre-book your next appointment? And she says, no, but I would like to. She points it out to Joe. You're not doing it. Joe says, I understand what you're saying. And Tabitha's like, no, you don't, because you're not doing it.
I'm so disappointed in Joe. He's totally dropping the ball today.
Joe's a little bit overwhelmed by the entire thing. He has a brand new desk, okay? He doesn't know how to get himself settled in.
I'm gonna walk out right now. I don't want to stay anymore. I can't take this no more. I can't do this. This ain't me. I'm talking to you as a wife right now and a husband. Where's my husband?
Tabitha sees that Joe went up to Josephine, so she calls both of them to the back and she's like, yo, we need to have a real ass conversation. And basically it all boils down to, if your boy Joe can't do his job,
You have to be stronger and just be like, all right, listen, if you can't follow through, this is not the job position that you should be in.
That's a step in the right direction.
you're gonna have to fire him. You have to hold him accountable. And Joe says, you know what? I'm not even mad about it. Low key, that's what needs to happen. At the end of the day, Tabitha gets everyone together. She explains to them the new situation with Joe.
And if Joe doesn't do what he's meant to, what are you going to do, Josephine?
Joe's going to be fired.
She also brings up certain people, Tara and Crystal, are great hairdressers and should raise their prices because they did absolute great work.
Your work looked very nice. And my recommendation is that you should increase your prices.
Thank you.
She straight up tells Claire, you don't have the skill level. I don't think that you should raise your prices.
And I don't think you should raise your prices until you put the time in that you need to put in and your skill set just isn't there yet.
Because your finishing and your haircutting needs work. She points out that Stacy's consultations also need more work, so she should not raise her prices. Tells Josephine Joe was a disaster with the booking today, which, let's be honest, he was. And that is basically everyone summed up. At the end, just like they do little gifts, and Gordon Ramsay does them all the time, where now he hands out his pots, his brand of pots. Tabitha ends up giving them a laptop so that they could use that for booking on their new ugly little desk.
And Joe, because I want you to take control of the appointment book, here's a computer for the desk.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much.
And we have the good, awesome, upbeat music, which means we're having a great time and things have been resolved and everyone is gonna be a great hairdresser from here on out. We're gonna make so much money now. Anyways, 6-month recap coming right up. She walks in, she expects to see Joe at the front desk. Surprise, surprise.
Where's Josephine?
I don't know where Josephine is.
That's disappointing.
He's not there and neither is Josephine. It is Joe's day off. That's why he's not there. Maybe she walked in on a slower day. Josephine isn't there because, duh, she's still running somebody else's salon.
I couldn't believe when I walked into Images that Joe and Josephine weren't at the salon.
And she asks, did you guys raise your prices? At least are you making more money? Turns out Josephine did not think it was a good idea for them to raise their prices if no one else was allowed to raise their prices.
I'm really disappointed that Josephine won't let Crystal or Tara raise their prices. They proved to me they can do the work, but Josephine's holding them back.
As if my skill level and my pricing has anything to do with Susie's. If Claire sucks ass, that is Claire's prerogative. Claire gets paid less. Sorry, Claire. Learn how to blow dry some fucking hair. Stop wearing a do-rag, worrying about the wrong fucking things. When Tara and Crystal are tearing it up and making great, beautiful hair, they should be paid accordingly. What should happen is that they should find somewhere else to work so that they can grow as stylists. But I'll keep that opinion to myself, and I'm sure Tabitha is thinking it, and she'll also keep that opinion to herself. Maybe pull them to the side and be like, hey guys, I really think that you should just get the fuck up out of here, because if your owner doesn't want you making your money because she doesn't want other people to get upset, you should really check it, because what the fuck does your success have to do with someone else's? Like, that is their problem. If they want to make more money, then they should show up more and they should take more education. Speaking of more education, Josephine said that she was going to provide more education, never provided more education for her staff at all. They're still waiting on it. But Claire, Miss Durag, that I've been talking shit about this entire time, has been taking education on her own.
So I got
Excellent.
this.
So you're taking
More education.
You're taking more education
Yes.
by yourself.
Yes.
I congratulate you, Claire. Congratulations, you are a professional. So as we wrap it up, Tabitha stands outside, and if this was Chef, he would be bouncing and telling his opinion and saying what he has to say. But this salon will not ever do better if she doesn't come to work and show up for her staff. She's super disappointed.
Well, that was incredibly frustrating. Joe's off for the day. Josephine isn't in the salon, and the staff told me that nothing in this place has changed.
And what do you know? The salon closed. I looked it up literally because I had to. And unfortunately, that salon is closed, which kind of makes sense. Unfortunately, maybe at some point the salon owner got a little bit tired and Josephine just didn't want to do it anymore. Either way, it's no longer open. RIP. And yeah, that's basically all I have to say about this episode. Thank you guys so much for watching and hanging out with me while I rant about this and the beauty industry. Shout out to Tabitha. Shout out to Claire. I will never get over it. Peace out. Oh yeah, it's time to turn this bullshit off. Bye. 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 Have a good night. Thanks for hanging out. Okay. Mwah.